Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I'm Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell.
Hey, how's it going?
Ruben Bressler.
Hey everybody, live from Evan's down home potato farm. We got fresh French fried potatoes here at Evan's Farming Simulator. Okay, that's enough of that. Ruben, I found backgrounds.
He found a little thing that let him change the stuff, and now he can't stop playing with it.
He did. Most of the pre-show is him just like playing with it. It's actually quite funny.
It's playing with my backgrounds.
I mean,
it is the not safe for work pre-show, so it wouldn't be unusual.
Gets a little crazy. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, look, we get started each week by saying hello to our trumpet blast, which you can get one.
Did you just double back?
Can I just roll with it? You wouldn't let me roll with it. Not cool.
You deleted my boob content.
Now I'm deleting boob content. The point is, no trumpet blast, but you can get one if you support us at our highest level on Patreon. And we do have a giveaway for a $50 gift certificate to CoolStuffInc.com. ! Raffle in the chat. But first, if you subscribe and support the channel, you get 2 chances to win. Tonight we're running again the truncated 45-minute giveaway, so get all of your entries in by 11:45 Eastern Standard, because that's when the cutoff is.
Indeed. And next week we will have a full-length, normal strength show. Aaron, please. And because next week we're going to be chock full of Ikoria spoilers.
It's true. And we'll get to that here in just a little bit. Today is April Fool's Day, and true to form, as Wizards is wont to do, and is our first pick, they have done something a little silly. And this one in particular is a little bit sillier than most. That they've done.
This real?
Yeah.
Can you buy this?
Well, let's get there first. First of all, let's say what it is. Today they announced they have the secret layer.
Improved FPS is nice.
Is it really? Yeah. They present, after great deliberation, they have compiled and remastered the greatest Magic the Gathering cards of all time ever in a secret layer drop series. This includes Stormcrow, Goblin Snowman, Mudhole, and Squire. If you're very new to Magic, those cards are terrible. But the cards themselves are absolutely gorgeous. This new Goblin Snowman is amazing.
You do realize the joke here, right?
The joke here being that they're not good cards, but they're...
The joke is where the goblin's going to put the carrot, because it already has a carrot.
Oh, with the image. I'm sorry, I wasn't getting that one. Okay,
we weren't there yet.
I wasn't there yet.
Well, you know me. I go straight to the carrot.
It's a good joke. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Let's go back to
you cut off some boob content. All right.
Yeah, you cut off some boob content.
I have to move on to the
Farming Simulator content.
Let's move on here. Check out Noah Bradley's. First of all, yes, he was absolutely the model. He modeled for his own card. Clearly.
Wait, are you talking about Noah Bradley?
Yes. Oh, we gotta go back. Oh, baby. Oh, look at that.
Oh my God.
We are rocking the multimedia tonight. Those on the podcast only. Wait, may I suggest you check out the video for maximum comedic
Noah. What are we going to do with you?
Goodness gracious. Either way, Noah Bradley did pose for his version of Squire, and if you see in the background on the right there, that's the meme.
Distracted girlfriend meme or distracted boyfriend meme.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's boy on boy. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, super sweet.
And he did, of course, model for his own art, which he shared earlier.
It's true. Here we also have Mudhole, which is,
Aaron, please.
Oh, God.
I was fine until you said something.
For those who don't know, Mudhole is a red and 2 generic mana for an instant that target player exiles all land cards from their graveyard.
This was a rare from Odyssey.
Rare from Odyssey. How dare they?
Wow.
Oh my God. But the last but certainly not least is Stormcrow.
That's an epic Stormcrow.
That is an epic 2-mana 1/2 flyer.
Yeah.
And that's pretty incredible. So, they say here, like, look, the availability, they say, well, you can check it out, but the real talk, the timing doesn't feel right. Instead, we think you should take this moment to help people who are struggling with the outbreak, donate to the Red Cross.
Yeah.
At some point in the future, after we've all safely gotten past the outbreak, we'll print and provide these secret Lair drops to WPN stores at no charge to use at their discretion.
Okay.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
So this is not for sale for $59.99 manufacturer suggested retail price. Yeah, this is actually a joke, but like later they'll maybe make a few of them for stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would call this
fine.
the best of both worlds. And first of all, if this was an actual drop series, I think it would sell. I actually think a non-zero
for the Stormcrow at minimum.
At minimum, right? Minimum. And the Noah Bradley Squire. Like, come on. Like,
Noah Bradley Squire.
We'd be all
I would
about
get it for the Snowman. I think I love Victor Adame. He can do no wrong, and so that really does it for me.
Yeah.
It's like a $50 or $60 box though for those.
They've varied. They've been all the way down to $24.99 before. So this would be like a $25 box.
I think Gavin also did something for April Fool's Day. He's been doing these sort of guerrilla quarantine videos from his home, and he did the color. They were doing the color purple as being the new color, and so that was cute.
Yeah, Mike Turian got to be the color purple, and he had an actual piece of pie because he was part of the color pie, right? That means he gets pie. Gavin has been posting those every weekday, and they've been absolutely fantastic. And my favorite part, I think, is that he always ends it with "You got this," and it's like, we're cool. We're gonna make it. Get through it, and Gavin's gonna have a good time entertaining us. And we'll
I think it's hilarious that Wizards had the foresight to ask those artists to make those pieces of art. Like, this is a elaborate prank.
Oh yeah.
They spent a long time working on this joke.
Oh yeah, I mean, just imagine, because we're talking about the cost of the art, the cost of the employees that had to put all this together. I mean, the graphic designer, the web designer had to put the words on the screen, the marketing department had to get ready to talk about it on social media. Like, a lot of stuff went into this gigantic, elaborate joke. And I think the best part is that we may actually see it one day in our hands, and that's amazing. I was talking about it with the Cool Stuff Games regional manager, and I was just like, "Oh, it'd be so cool! Can you imagine the events you can build around these cards?" And I was like, "Events? Remember those things? Weren't those cool?"
Rip.
I'm looking forward to those returning once again.
Yeah.
But either way, excellent April Fool's joke is excellent. It's not mean-spirited. It's not weird. It's not cruel. Like,
April Fool's has always been in a weird spot for me. Always, even when I was like 10 and should have liked this holiday, because it always feels like you can't win with it. Like it's either too good of a joke, at which point it's at somebody's expense usually, or it feels overdone, or it's obvious. Like, there's no real good. And also, pranks are just like so 90s at this point, right? And especially now, when everybody's in this collective hell of social distancing and ridiculousness, it felt like the wrong time to be like, "Hey, everybody, guess what? I'm pregnant, or I dyed my hair," right?
Or I have coronavirus, or we're getting divorced, or
don't do that.
But this was funny and well executed, and no one's expense. Exactly.
I will take it. Let's move on here to Gather the Townsfolk, and thanks to Castrellon for gifting them subs. That's pretty dope. The Sundered Bond ebook. This was their big stream last week, where they had Django Wexler on to talk about writing the story for Ikoria. As I recall, he did the one for Ravnica. I believe
so, yes.
No.
Django
He didn't
Wexler?
do like War of the Spark. I'm talking like, was it before then? I can't remember. He did a previous one. I can imagine they've mentioned here. I totally missed it. He was author of The Gathering Storm, which was a book, the prequel to the prequel novella to War of the Spark. So that was the thing he did. So they also had a really cool piece of art, which I will put on the screen for you guys right now, so you can take a look at it. We're looking for every scrap we can get at this point for Ikoria. The Fire Hose opens tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/magic. They're going to have a big to-do. They've been working on this for a long time, clearly, and it should be pretty awesome. You can see here the new piece of artwork where the guy, and then he kind of looks through this, crystal, and it's a monster. And Vivian is behind him there with the cocked bow, ready to go. See what that means as well.
Weird art. And
something scary monster in the background.
Yeah.
That will be really interesting. So
is that the scary monster that was previewed
No.
that had nothing in the foreground?
Yes, it was. It was the one we saw last week.
Oh, was it?
Oh, okay.
Yes, which was a thing. There are going to be, of course, changes to the release schedule. Where April 2nd, Ikoria debuts with the trailer launch. Again, that's first thing tomorrow morning. April 10th will be the last day of preview. So again, next week we'll have so many cool new things to talk about.
That's not a long time.
Lord, no. It's going to be bam, 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 bam at us next week. Because again, it's not just Ikoria. It's all 5 commander decks. There's now 5 commander decks. Remember, they used to get their own week with their own, video each day.
Well, there used to be, I mean, back in May, I think it was last set, there were 2 weeks just for Throne.
Yeah. Or just for Theros.
Or just for Theros.
Yeah. So that's a thing. But on April 16th, I mean, we're talking 15 days from now, Ikoria is going to be released on Magic the Gathering Arena and Magic Online.
And a full month before it's available in stores.
Yes.
What's the impact of that going to be?
That's weird.
A lot. I can imagine, I kicked a hornet's nest on Twitter, as I want to do, because I tried to explain that, this is very, very negative for those who rely on paper Magic. And for what it's worth, I think May 15th is ambitious. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not actually seeing May 15th happening personally. I would expect it to actually push into June. Once it pushes into June, it gets closer to June/July, which means they have this Jumpstart product and they have M21 that's coming up. So you have a scenario where you're going to be able to play with these cards. You're going to build all the decks. You're going to get to see the best in the world build their decks and play with it and have fun and whatever. We're going to grind out that metagame. And then at some point in the future, and again, optimistically 4 weeks, probably realistically 6 to 8 weeks, you might be able to buy a paper pack. Now that could do one of 2 very weird things. Either the paper cards are not going to be worth very much, which I actually don't think so. I think the very opposite, which is the paper cards are going to be worth a whole lot because not that many are going to be opened just for singles. There's no events to play with them in. So if there's a sick mythic and it's an awesome planeswalker, you don't really want to go buy 4 paper copies if there's no Grand Prix to go, play with it at, or go even F&M to go play with it at. So
I mean,
it's
paper cards are a tough sell right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, as tough as they can be. Obviously, they're an insanely good investment and have been for 20 years.
Right.
Having recently been featured on the Antiques Roadshow, among other places. But with Arena coming into its own, with the future of competitive Magic already in flux, before we even got to our current way of life, as it were, and what the delivery systems are going to look like in a month as we get towards release day. And I don't think Magic cards are going to count as an essential thing, whatever the phrasing is.
You're right. But do note, like coolstuffing.com, we're still buying cards. We're still selling cards.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna do this because we're live.
Go for it.
Help me. So what is the reasoning behind that? Because you are seeing, CFB was really the first one to kind of shut down. TCGplayer Direct has just, been taken down as part of this. Mage Market just announced they were getting out of the business. You are seeing a lot of stores reacting to Card Kingdom is not making orders anymore. Florida just had their stay-at-home order today.
Yeah.
And so, what's the reasoning behind that? Are people okay? How are you adapting to this?
Right. First of all, thank you that they finally actually shut the whole state down. I'm very happy about that.
Y'all were tripping. You were going to the beach.
And that drives me nuts because this thing could literally kill me. No joke. I could die. And so that drove me nuts. But do note that the way that it works, there's essentially all the storefronts are going to be closed. There's no Cool Stuff Games locations that are open. The only reason CoolStuffInc.com is open is because it's a web store and we deal through mail and package delivery. The business itself has gone through extreme measures to be super clean and thorough, to wipe down everything, to have multiple sort of cleaning regimens a day. Yeah. We have staggered all of our shifts to make sure that there's always 6 feet between everyone. All the managers are aware of that. So like it is super serious, you know, in terms of the way we're taking it and the way that we run the business to make sure everyone's good and healthy, and you know, any symptoms ever get sent home immediately, stuff like that. So there are the, you know, no more than 10 people in one spot. Like we are adhering to that, and there's no one has to come in and kind of check on us. No, we're very paranoid about that. We want to make sure that all of our employees are taken care of. They've let me, you know, work from home all these weeks now, and we'll ultimately be all these weeks ahead. But ultimately that's kind of how it works, is that because we deal in mail and package delivery, we can still function. And so we are. And so as to what those businesses are doing, obviously they're doing whatever they feel is best, and that's great. And if it was an issue, obviously we can respond to it at that time. But you know,
I also know that now I don't know how Cool Stuff operates specifically, but Cool Stuff having multiple storefronts, I'm assuming the warehouse is disconnected from that.
Yes.
Which is not the case for, I think, all of those other companies that were discussed: TCGplayer, SCG, Channel Fireball.
Right.
So having that, I mean, they are much closer in, and you can't have, like, I'm kind of talking out of my ass here, but as far as I can see, you are much better able to deal with this situation by socially distancing at work.
Right.
Whereas a traditional warehouse, it just isn't going to work.
Right.
Okay,
and even before, you know, even before the state, you know, finally shut everything down or whatever, like we had, like, you know, tape on the floor. We got rid of all the tables in the storefront. Like, you know, this wasn't a place to come and hang out. This was, you can come and pick up stuff. You can come and get stuff and leave. You can pre-order stuff and get it and take it back home. And that's kind of the way we dealt with it so far. But, you know, super proud of the way the company has handled it, and we're doing the best we can to get through this crazy tough time. Others have not been as fortunate. Mage Market has officially shut down. Could someone, I have no idea exactly how Mage Market worked. I know that lots of people were sponsored in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I'm still not. I was trying not to bring it up because of you know, the fact that they're no longer. But
I mean,
yeah, no one really. I really never knew what they did, to be honest. And the thing that really stuck out to a lot of people about this announcement was not the fact that they were shutting down. Nobody seemed to really be surprised by this. But what really took people by surprise was the fact that the owners are predicting, we do not believe the market will recover in the next 12 months and potentially never. So they are saying that
seems really
grim.
Well, grim,
that
but
is
also
as doom and gloom as it gets. Quite frankly.
doomsaying. It seems pretty. I just need my desk. Pretty needlessly, like Armageddon.
Yeah, it's doom and gloom that honestly is a little bit unnecessary. Some people essentially have attacked their business model, and I'm not going to say anything to that. All I'm saying is obviously it's bad when business
we can't attack it because we don't know what it is.
Well, first of all, I don't know how you work, man. I'm sorry. No offense. I'm sure it was a fantastic way to do stuff, but either way, that is definitely not the prevailing feeling across the internet. Certainly isn't the prevailing feeling at Cool Stuff, and I'm sure at, you know, CFB and Cartoon and whatnot. But you know, paper magic does still exist. There's going to be lulls. There's going to be opportunities for people to buy things that at a very cheap rate, because paper is not being played right now. I mean, my God, I saw somebody selling a foil windswept heath for $20, and I'm like, if you got some money, not the worst time to invest in paper.
I mean, you're not. I mean, you have to figure people aren't going anywhere. So, like for me personally, you know, I used to, you know, divide up my paycheck into, you know, a bus pass because I live in the city, and so I don't have to pay for that. And I'm also not paying for lunches anymore because I'm not, you know, going out. I'm not leaving the office to get food. I'm getting all my groceries here, and I'm eating at home. And so when you take away all those little expenses that Americans have, or anybody has, you suddenly have a lot more money. And so I'm actually going to be going to Cool Stuff and putting in a pretty big order because I have more money to spend. I can buy singles. I'm doing a lot of brewing while I'm home alone. And so I'm playing online. I'm doing the webcam paper thing. The decks that I'm brewing, I want to be able to play on cam with friends. And so I'm going to need singles to do that. And so, you know, despite everything going on, there is still a market for paper because, you know, people have more time and a little bit more money to spend if they haven't been impacted like restaurants and bars and things like that.
Right. And you have some who are sort of like, doomsaying of like, oh, like for example, if a certain buy lists aren't buying certain types of cards, if certain companies aren't buying, power or really old like dual lands and stuff like that, oh, the market's going to crash instead forever. It's like, well, I mean, it ebbs and flows, ups and downs. Like you got to be able to weather through those times. We're at an unprecedented, this has never happened before. How are we going to get through this type stuff?
I think it kind of speaks to the efficacy of their business model that they are so quick to get out. That they're, like you said, we've seen a lot happen and businesses have survived the ebb and flow. And I think you have to have a certain resilience to be able to do this. And the fact that they were just like, well, we're out. It's just like, well, were you really cut out for this then? Like,
to go along, which I hope would become a meme. If Mark Rosewater can't kill Magic, and he's been at it for more than 20 years, y'all, then the COVID-19 ain't got nothing on paper Magic.
I really like the word efficacy.
Isn't it great?
Word.
Yeah.
It's a really nice one.
Really nice.
If the veracity of their claims is true.
I mean, speaking of the illness, it appears that one Paulo Vitor Damonderosa, his wife, had tested positive, and it's possible that he himself also has it.
Yeah.
So
several of the rivals, or several of the pros have been doing these hashtag State of the Gamer videos. Mike Sigris did one as well, where his wife is on the front line. She's a nurse. She's fighting the good fight. Yep. And he was talking about the fact that she's separate from the family currently while she's doing the work, and they're raising their twin girls, and he's letting everybody know they're okay. PV also made a video. BBD and Brad Nelson also did a video under this hashtag of State of the Gamer. So they're checking in, they're letting everybody know they're okay. They're finding ways to stay kind of in the headlines while this is going on, because normally you would hear about them for their tournament results or for the things they're playing, but they're not really playing as much, so they need to find ways to keep you interested, and also just to let you know they're okay, because you are invested in these players. And so PB's wife did test positive. They are together, and he believes he might have it as well. He's in good spirits, and so we're all rooting for him. We want everyone to come out of this, and it is scary because statistically it can happen to someone and now we know. I mean, there was Travis
will happen
father,
to someone
PV,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's closing in.
Yeah, there you go. But they've canceled more MagicFests.
Seattle?
3
as
additional,
well they should.
5 additional rather. Yeah, I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just noting that they canceled MTG Toronto, Prague, Seattle, Valencia, and Providence.
Yep.
Which are all canceled at this point.
The event that I am surprised that hasn't been officially canceled yet is Comic-Con.
And that
which
happens
is at
when?
the end of July.
It's fair. Also, Origins Game Fair said that they're going to make an announcement on the May 1st.
Gen Con's another one people are watching.
Well, Gen Con is August.
Is early
so like
August.
that's cutting it a little closer to like reasonable, but it's still 150,000 people, right?
Yep.
Like Comic-Con, Gen Con, these are massive events.
Right.
Like I'm okay if you want to, have 150 people at a thing in like late July. Like they haven't officially canceled the World Series of Poker yet either, which is always like the Colts just flies around the Rio every single year. But yeah, I mean, obviously Wizards, once they saw the whites in the eyes of what was coming, they were on it. You gotta hand it to them.
There was an update from an esports update that showed up late last night that essentially canceled most of what you would describe as Magic esports. A bunch of the stuff is being canceled. All the Players Tour Series 2 events, the Prague event, the Seattle event, the Asia Pacific event are all canceled. They also mentioned like don't even plan to show up for the July event. Like just don't even bother. They're not even going to look at flight reimbursements for that type of stuff because it's not.
They invited the top 8 players in player point standings who weren't already a member of the MPL or Rivals League. So they got some new additions there. Corey Burkhart, Kenta Hirane, Shintaro Ashimura, Zachary Keeney, Joel Larson, Yuta Takahashi, Brent Vos, and Jacob Wilson are all now part of the Rivals League. So
nice. Yeah, so congratulations to them, which is awesome. So sort of per usual, it's a little tough to follow all the changes because there's digital stuff and then there's like real paper stuff and they kind of mesh, but they kind of don't, but there's digital events, but there's kind of not because the biggest digital events have everyone coming there, regardless of the fact that they're all digital. But either way, they said do not make travel arrangements for the Players Tour Finals in Minneapolis, which is July 10th through 12th, or the Mythic Invitational Core Set 2021, which is July 23rd through 26th, because we just don't know what's going to happen.
You've got to be a savage to think that you're going to go to anything before July.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've got to be a gambler to think that you're going to have 4th of July plans. Like I respect, obviously the fact that Origins has said we're going to say on this day whether it's going to happen or not. But like, really? Like early June, we're okay right now? Really? Okay. I had looked up how to say this person's name and I have forgotten. Ooh, this looks like a fun game. Hold on. Lord. Let me scroll up to this point in the doc. This person's name. Oh, are we talking about Raphael Levy's preview card?
Raphael Levy.
Okay.
Or Levy,
so I'm going to let chat know that this is the name that Evan is going to try to pronounce.
I swear, I looked it up.
Look how simple it is.
It's not. I've heard this name a lot. Let me find a good background.
Even our patrons, God bless them, was like in the Discord, Evan, this is how you say it. And I'm like,
we're giving you 2 days notice.
It's just left me. But they have a special stream. They'll have a special guest on this stream. Tennis player Gael Monfils.
Nope. We're close. Monfils.
Monfils.
Gael Monfils.
Gael Monfils.
You gotta be French.
Gael Monfils. We did it. I'm sorry.
Gael. He's not your aunt who makes lemon squares.
Gael Monfils.
Is it Gael? Okay, it's Gael.
There
Gael Monfils.
There's Gael Monfils.
All right, there you go.
There Gael. There he is. He's about to hit a tennis ball. We don't actually have the ability to share that image.
Apparently he does play Magic, because somebody asked Raph like what, and Raph was like, no, he plays, he's a fan, and right. Good, I love it.
Gael Monfils is going to be with Raphael Levy, and apologies.
He's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, apologies to the tennis pro for
well,
that.
If it's like if you didn't know how to pronounce Raphael Levy and you were like Raphael Levy. It's Gael Monfils. No, it's Raphael Levy, Gael Monfils. You just have to pretend to be French.
Right.
And then you'll be French.
Oh, is that how that works?
Oh my God.
Tend to be French and you're French. Okay.
What you need to do is you need to put a tiny rat underneath your chef's hat.
Oh my God. All right. Okay.
Wow.
Woo! We are staying at home, everybody. We are staying at home. All right. Mark Jacobson. Congratulations to Mark Jacobson, the first ever MagicFest online weekend champion with Sultai Ramp, which is really cool.
And he won with the most boring deck.
That deck is silly.
I was rooting for, I believe she was in the top 8, Ash Lizzle. She's been working really hard on Black Red Sacrifice, and I think she went like 11-2.
Yeah.
And she had like an amazing streak. She got into the top 8. I think it was this event. I was really pulling for her because she has done a lot of time with that deck. She's very, very good at it. She's great to watch, and I was really hoping.
Moldy Simic. I like the name Moldy Simic. I like that.
Well, look,
it's just
one of the things that he mentions, he says, at Channel Fireball, if I chip in, can I get a trophy? First of all, don't make the man pay for his own trophy, okay?
Yeah, that's not cute.
Right, and secondly, get the man a trophy. Get some trophies made for these people. You can certainly do that. Let them have something they can put on their mantle and be proud of, just like you would if you won a real one. Yep. Absolutely.
Like a bottle of trophy-shaped hand sanitizer.
Goodness gracious. So Wizards had announced on their weekly MTG that mystery boosters are going to be reprinted. Mystery boosters have been an enormous success. I mean, crazy success. First of all, if you're a store owner, congratulations. They sold great and their singles were awesome. And then secondly, as a player, now that kind of initial wave has happened, the sales have happened, people have been open boosters and whatnot, the singles are really low. They're at their lowest right now. So if there is any mystery booster single that you want right now, go get it. It ain't going to be cheaper than it is right now.
A lot of really, really good reprints out there. I was shopping around for Commander singles the other day. Eldrazi Monuments down to like $4 $10 now. You know, just cards that really seemed out of reach. Basilisk collars like $1. I mean, like things are good right now. Like if you're looking for, and there's a lot of cards out there. So I would go through the mystery booster list and see if there were any cards that you were waiting on, because they might have gone down in price quite a bit.
And there probably are, because there's 1,700 of them.
Recruiter of the Guard is less than $10 now. Yeah,
That's
it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of what happens. There's this race to the bottom, but because the set is so big, has so many cards, it affects it so.
Good.
Oh yeah, it's great. Trust me. On sort of all levels. If you watch the booster box game from the professor, where he opens cards and tries to buy another box with the buy price of the cards that he opens, it was insane. It did better. I won't spoil it.
Do you mean this professor?
Do I mean that one right there? You move your head up a little bit.
I won't Magic the Gathering players.
Yeah, so all I would say is that was his best ever. Normally his those shows are like maybe 25-30 minutes, you know, the booster box game or whatever. It's fine. This one is an hour and a half. Like,
wow, how many boxes?
I don't want to spoil it, because I think it's really cool. So go check it out. It even beat Ultimate Masters. It is his best ever. Like, it was not close, and absolutely incredible. And also what I appreciate is that when he does the buy price of the cards, they don't stay the same. Like, it is the buy price when he opens it at that very moment. So they do go down over time, and he still opens more boxes than he's ever opened in a booster box game. Absolutely incredible. But that said, Wizards had noted that they are going to reprint mystery boosters and provide them to WPN stores at no charge. I have no idea how many. We have no idea when they're going to be here, or how they're going to distribute them, or if they're going to go through distribution or not. I have no idea. I would note that if Wizards were, if this was a token, and as I understand, this is a token, you know, to help stores, right? Yeah. Let me tell you something. Wizards of the Coast, please. Events are always better. I mean, like 1,000,000 times better than product. I mean, 1,000,000 times. If you gave a unique promo that you had to show up at an event to get and to play for, or a product that you had to, you know, it was a booster product or whatever, you got to show up and draft mystery booster for the first time or whatever, something like that. Make an event, because getting the butts in the seats are what keep the lights on. And mystery boosters are cool. Don't get me wrong. This is great. No one's mad at this. I'm just saying events are better than just product. So,
I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, that's been Vegas's golden rule for years. His flights are cheap there. The buffet's free. Cheap hotel rooms. Get the butts in the seats.
Right now.
I couldn't go for a casino buffet right now because sneeze guards.
Can't do
I mean, it sounds good. Like, I just want to go back to that normalcy of just like
in the middle of an epidemic. I don't think $9.99 unlimited
I didn't
crab
say right now. I said when it was done. You are awful.
You're not listening, turd, was an actual sentence said during this podcast.
I know. I'm being purposefully facetious.
Goodness gracious. Look, Gavin, we had mentioned earlier, has been doing these videos every day, but he also got to turn 30 on March 29th.
Yeah.
So congratulations to that.
We
we all three.
This one. Evan woke us up at what, 9 a.m. on a Sunday and was like, hey, y'all guys want to do a video for his birthday? And Ruben and I are like, what? It's Sunday. Like, what are you doing? And then you got up and recorded a video by yourself, and then we got up at a reasonable hour and recorded our videos. But I couldn't believe you.
Right.
You were like,
well, he's on the
you
East
couldn't
Coast.
believe me. Get out of here.
How dare! And is like, hey, y'all, you want to get on? First of all, that was a really good impression. Second of all, it was like he's in Florida and thinks the world revolves around him, so he wakes up at his reasonable hour. And so it's like the middle of the night still in California.
Okay.
It's like, hey, you all want to get up and, you know, look reasonable for the camera?
No. The famous thing about Florida is that no matter what it is, it's always $51.49. It's like, should I eat glass? $51.49. Like every time. It doesn't matter. It's just, oh, maybe.
But yeah, we all ended up doing videos.
Yeah.
I liked both y'all's videos. Nice. I didn't really think about mine. I just did mine from the couch. But yeah, they were fun.
It was great. We get to mark here the end of an era. Brad Nelson is no longer going to be writing and or employed, as I understand it, by Star City Games. And that ends essentially almost 10 years of nonstop content creation from him for the company. He joined the company while I was there. And while I was running things, which was great. He, from his Player of the Year in 2010, that happened over in Paris, which I was at, which was amazing, which we made stickers, and the convention center was so mad because you ridiculous Magic players stuck them all over the place, and they were just like, who started City Games? I'm gonna kick your butt, whatever. They were mad. But there's no doubt that he has an incredible career of content creation. He's not like he's going to disappear or nothing. He still has, his channel and his social media outlets.
Does anyone know what's in the article? Because it's behind that damn paywall. I didn't see like a Reddit summary. I didn't see a Twitter summary. Like, what's in it? Like, can anyone tell us?
It's hilarious that his farewell article is behind a paywall.
I just want to know what's
hilarious.
It's hilarious that it's behind a paywall, and also that no one's talking about it. Like, I'm seeing a lot of the salutations that you're saying, but nobody seems to know what was in it. They're just like, okay, he's not there anymore. Like, no one says actually seen the message, which is weird. But I'm not surprised if this is happening. We're kind of seeing this, as we're seeing this across the board. There are people leaving websites. I'm hearing rumors that, content creators are taking pay cuts. Obviously the stores are not doing the business that they used to. I don't know if that has anything to do with his departure, but I'm not surprised that I think there was also there was a streamer, Jeffrey Brucey. He announced he was leaving Team CFB.
That's a show.
Sure.
SJOW. He's one of the Scandinavians that are friends with anyway.
Wonderful. But yeah, so he's parting ways with them too. And I don't think these are gonna be the last two, to be honest.
Well, and as many know, me and Brad recorded the first complete set reviews. It was a crazy idea I had. Once me and Brad sat down, it was just like it was just magic. I mean, magic. For real though, it was fantastic. None of that stuff was rehearsed. We just did it and ran. He and I connected on such a fundamental level. It was really terrific.
All right, stop talking about your exes while you're on a date with us.
God, I swear.
Yeah, the thing I love most about Brad Nelson is, Brad has the star quality. When I was doing the deck tease, one of the things that made my interviews great was when you have a personality or a player who gives you something back, where your interviews are a lot like a tennis game where you're just bouncing the ball back and forth. And, there are some pros that you really have to, kind of step on their head and pull the teeth out to get information out of them. And then you had somebody like Brad who just shows up and just throws the notes over their shoulder, and you're just having, the charisma, star quality, whatever you want to call it. He has it in spades. And, not a lot of people have that sort of natural charisma that he does. And so, he's a joy to watch. He's a great player, solid dude, and you can't help but root for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it was fun, and that stuff still gets brought up all the time, and of course, it was awesome. But obviously, again, best wishes to Brad and himself. He's still in the MPL. He's still doing great. Should be no problem.
He's going to land on his feet. He'll be fine
for sure. Let's move on here to some desperate ravings. Goodness gracious, the living wall illustration, and this is
that baby. They zoomed in on the baby.
Wait, hold on.
Well, this is the alpha version. The artwork for alpha cards in general is very difficult to find. What you can find is super duper expensive. Ruben brings gross nightmare fuel.
Don't eat the baby.
That's
don't eat
gross.
the baby.
That's not.
Yeah, for those who don't know, inside one of the little sacks of the living wall is a baby. So I don't know if you know that. That's a little Easter egg there. That's a baby.
Yeah.
This is not. I don't like this. Why would you want this hanging in your house?
Because it's an alpha. And Anson Maddox had drawn this. And again, this is a very small painting. It's 5 inches by 7 inches. So
okay, so it's subtle.
And all of those from back in the day are generally very small paintings. But
I learned that lesson the hard way. I remember shortly after, Scars of Northern Block came out, I bought a giant Elish Norn poster. And then when I unfurled that thing, I was like, you can't put that in your living room. You can't be like, hey, here's this, flayed person,
flayed, skinless.
Yeah. There's definitely art that you can, share with the normies. And then there's the art where you're like, I got to kind of keep this to myself because people think I'm weird.
Yeah. Okay. Where's your skin lamp? Is it over here? Did you put it back there? No? Okay. But there's only 295 cards in the original alpha. 30 of them were painted by Anson, which is still an impressive feat.
He's old school, yeah.
Absolutely. Because, again, some of those paintings are either lost, some of them been damaged or destroyed. Some of them that back in the day, they literally would just paint over the older paintings to save on money because they didn't necessarily have all the art supplies that they needed. And again, that's where some of them had rumored to go, is that they just got either destroyed by painting over them or taking away the paint and just repainting the canvas. So who knows? But this thing went for $45,000.
Jeepers.
That's a lot. And I think, is that the most that's ever been sold? I'm not sure.
I think $45,000 for an original art piece sounds like the most expensive, because I remember Lotus Field went for $35,000.
That sounds about right.
So that is a lot. Certainly the most per square inch.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Aaron, you wanted to definitely touch on this next story, so I'll let you just have at this one.
Yeah, so my friend Joseph Dyer is the legacy and vintage writer for MTG Goldfish. He's doing a really, really good job bringing attention to some of my favorite formats. And he decided to apply for the MTG Content Creator Program, which I've been very, very vocal about. And of course, he got denied. Why? Because he's not a streamer. And the Content Creator Program has been getting a lot of attention lately because they are really giving people who belong to that program the most attention. And the Ikoria early access event, there was some conflicting information as to whether or not you could be invited if you were not a member of this program. So we, who had been fortunate enough to be in several early access events, had to apply for this thing because we were told we couldn't be a part of it otherwise. Our application was finally approved after a couple of months. But Joseph's situation is not unique and really exacerbates my problem with this, is that it's not a content creator program, it's a streamer program. Just say it's a streamer program. That's all I want you to do. And they just cannot bring themselves to do that. And even when they made the announcement about the Ikoria Early Access event, they were like, hey, if you want to be a part of it, you need to be part of this program. And you could see YouTubers and podcasters that were like, can I be a part of this program? And then just crickets. Like nobody from that account would answer them because they knew the answer was going to be no. And so it's just frustrating. I would rather they just own up to it. There was a little bit of blowback as well because that weird Streamlabs, what's the name of the weird thing they want us to use? Element Labs or
Stream Elements.
Yeah, the Stream Elements. Apparently, it gives like a lot of access to people's computers, and so people were like, "I really don't want to give you all this access." And so it's been a weird week for the content creator program. What with this, Elementals thing, and then just more and more evidence that if you're not a streamer and you're not specifically streaming Arena, you're just not a content creator for that.
Yeah, this is one of those where it would, I think, be in Wizards' best interest to just be upfront about it. Like, you don't. It's okay if you're like, we care about streamers right now. Like,
right. If they just said this is the early access streamers event
or streamer program or whatever.
Streamer program.
Right.
Fine. Cool. Like, that's actually a line in the sand.
Like, I know you want to have it both ways.
Right.
But we can complain that it excludes somebody. But
exactly.
At least they're being upfront about it. And instead of
they also haven't shown any drive to like include other people. Where like, I have friends in different content spheres that, have said that they've had conversations with people at Wizards and on this community team, and there's just no attempt to like bridge the gap there. It's just like, so you're not streaming and you don't plan on streaming?
Right. I forgot about this. So this got brought up. I apologize. So this got brought up in a previous time. Young Mage, who's obviously a content creator, is too young to be a part of the new program.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in addition to other people who are going to be cut off by that. So it just seemed like they changed where the line was, which made a bunch of feel bads.
Yeah.
Right. And so, ultimately, again, it's their, sandbox. They can do whatever they want with it. I've just found, and even just, through over time, old man magic here, Wizards is usually more effective if they just tell you what they're doing. If they just explain up front, this is what we want, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. Okay. And we can disagree as to the hows and the whys at that point. Right. But, just let us know. Just tell you have to be a streamer with so-and-so, followers and so subscriptions, and, or you need to be a partner, or you need to be, able to have subscribers, for example. Who knows what their bar actually is.
So I included the tweet in the chat there. You can @VolrathXP, give them a follow, because that'll amplify their audience, and maybe better luck in the future getting into the streamer program, or
just if you like reading about legacy or vintage, because he's one of the few
grow
creators
their
that's
fan
talking
base
about that right now.
It's true. All right, so which will probably be our last story for this week. So we have some splash damage, and I'm doing this mainly for my girls. I got 2 teenage girls, and I'm telling you, right now, Animal Crossing is life, and life is Animal Crossing. You can create custom designs for custom outfits on Animal Crossing, and they did a thread fashion show where they show you how they made Liliana's dress. This is like cosplaying in a video game.
It's awesome.
Which is great. I think that's awesome. There's Chandra is here. You have Vivian Reed is there. Here's an Elspeth jacket, which I thought was absolutely terrific. And these are all on the screen if you're watching the video now. And this is awesome.
My whole friends list on Facebook is all about Animal Crossing right now.
I have the words animal and crossing muted on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Well, it's my background behind me on the live stream.
It's
Tom Nook and Tammy and Timmy.
I want to touch on the last story that I was particularly interested in. So Twitch actually made an announcement that I thought was really, really cool. They've made an update to how bans go down, speaking of me muting and blocking. And they made an announcement on the 27th that said this is one of the most severe updates the social platform has implemented. If you ban a person, they can no longer see chat. But more importantly, any additional accounts they create are IP shadow banned. They can post messages, but no one can see them. And that's a really common issue that people have been having with Twitch, is that if you block somebody, they simply make a crappy throwaway account and then come back and kind of pick up where they left off. And sometimes they'll even taunt you and they'll add a 1 at their name or 2 at their name just to let you know that it's so easy to make an account. And this is one step that you can take to kind of prevent that from happening. And so by all accounts, I'm friends with a lot of people who mod, like our friend Dix, and this seemed to go over really, really well. And even though Twitch is taking a really long time to catch up to things culturally, I do like that they are making changes like this so that people learn that you just gotta act right.
So Aaron, can you do me a favor and bring up your muted terms list? Just tell me everything that's on your muted terms list. We've got about 3 hours before I got to go to bed. I'm ready for the full.
It's all good. Can do this.
I would rather not.
I do appreciate the thoroughness of it. That's actually really great.
And it sounds like something that should have been done a long time ago. Where it's not terribly novel. Where it's like, how has this not been a thing? But evidently it wasn't.
All right. So we are going to turn the corner to the finisher. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. As you all surely know, April Fool's Day celebrates Francis' switch from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar in 1582, as called for by the Council of Trent in 1563. People who were slow to get the news or failed to recognize that the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st became the butt of jokes and hoaxes and were called April Fools. An origin that sounds fake, but isn't. So in celebration of all things harmless, prank, and hilarious joke, what's a true magic fact about you that sounds like an April Fool, Ruben?
Well, even though I'm primarily known at... Actually, you know what? We should change my background to be the virtual background. There we go. Even though I'm primarily known as a red mage or a Kithkin player, my favorite decks of all time have had black and green in them. I know, crazy, but it's true. Black-green Rock with Deranged Hermit and Phyrexian Plague Lord, the Rock and his Millions. PT Junk, which was a junk color deck with Pernicious Deed and Spirit Monger. And of course, who could forget 4/4 Flying Vigilance Control for 2 colorless green-black from Pro Tour Great Designer Search 3.
Yeah, that's those 4/4 Flying Vigilance guys. Aaron?
Well, just like Ruben, I am also known for my love of an archetype, but even so, I've become a bigger fan of red the more and more that I've played with it. Locust God Commander, Pashalik Mons Commander, and of course my favorite red deck of all time, Dredge. I mean, Conflagrate, Cathartic Reunion, Shenanigans, and Faithless Looting. It's probably the reddest deck I've ever played.
Wow, goodness gracious. Well, I may be primarily known as the creator of the Magic Show, Forgotten Lore, Magic Mike's, the SCG Open Series, SCG Live, complete set reviews, and a whole slew of other seminal Magic moments, but that's not my best skill. No, my best skill is music. I've been a musician for longer than I've been a Magic player, so be on the lookout for my new upcoming album, sure to be restricted in all formats, Evan Irwin and the Band List Band.
Do you still have the guitar next to you?
Oh, can you play us out? Can you do the outro musically?
Oh no!
I don't know what you would want to hear musically.
I don't know.
Evan's taking requests, y'all.
Actually, you know what? This is funny. I've actually I stopped playing for a little while, and I've been actually trying to get back into the swing of things. My fingers are very sore because I'm trying to regrow those calluses so I can play longer. But we'll work that into one of the shows here in a little bit.
If
Irwin family band.
If I were to do an outro, I would pick up my guitar and say, "Anyway, here's Living Wall."
You're my living wall.
Oh my goodness. Well, that ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me, and keep taking care of yourselves.
There you go. Thank you, Ruben.
Have a good evening, everybody. Go wash your hands.
That's right. Please do. Thank you. Thank you. As we move to our final slide, I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, CardHoarder.com, my co-host, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching or listening. I hope you support us at patreon.com/magicmics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Talk to us privately at magicmicspodcast@gmail.com. Follow the audio-only podcast at magicmicspodcast.libsyn.com, or find us on iTunes or Spotify, or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.